Hello there and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about patch 10.0.5, which is the very first patch of Dragonflight, which is going to be a smaller patch but has a ton of features. And in this video we're going to go over all of the major and minor changes coming in patch 10.0.5. But before we go over all of the brand new changes coming in 10.05, I just want to shout out my Twitch, twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, Dragonflight PTR, Wrath-Itching Classic, any sort of World of Warcraft, I'm on twitch.tv/MrGM. every single day. Right, so patch 10.0.5 is launching extremely soon, or it has already launched depending on when you watch this video. It is launching on January 24th in the NA region and January 25th in the EU, so extremely soon, much sooner than I anticipated. Very excited for this patch. There's a lot of cool features, a lot of evergreen features as well coming along. It does look like it's going to be an enjoyable patch, and it does look like Blizzard are on track with their 2023 roadmap, releasing this when they did. So yeah, perfect for them as well. So without further ado, let's jump into some of the major features of patch 10.05. Now the first feature we're going to talk about of patch 10.05 is the trading post, and this is my favorite feature by far. So the trading post is a brand new evergreen system coming to the game, which will basically reward you with cosmetics and mounts and all sorts of different things every single month from just simply playing the game. Now there are two trading posts in the game, one of them in Stormwind and one in Orgrimmar. So essentially how this works is that every month you'll gain 500 Traders Tender just from simply being subscribed to the game. Traders Tender is a brand new account-wide currency which is used to purchase items from the trading post. Now you can get another 500 Traders Tender from doing different activities in the game. Now there's a brand new section on the Dungeon Journal which has a bunch of things, essentially a really long quest log of different activities you can do to fill the bar and get the additional 500 Traders Tender. Now you don't have to do everything. There's very simple things like /loving a character. There's other things like killing raid bosses or doing PvP. There's basically everything for every type of gameplay, and that's what makes it so good. So every single month you can gain a maximum of 1,000 Traders Tender. You can carry that over to the next month as well, that's not a problem. They did also announce that with every purchase of Dragonflight you do get 500 Traders Tender as well, so if you already have Dragonflight in your account you're going to get a bonus 500, putting you at 1,500. Now the trading post does not launch on January 24th and 5th, it actually launches on February 1st. This is when the rewards will first come in and you can start gaining that Traders Tender. Now the rewards do rotate every single month, but if you do see something that you do want to keep, you can actually freeze it with the UI, which is really nice. So if you see a mount that you're like, wow, that's so cool, but I don't have enough, you can freeze it and it will carry on as long as you keep it frozen in there, which is really, really nice. But as mentioned, the rewards will rotate, and they will rotate back as well, I believe Blizzard did confirm. But you won't have enough Traders Tender to purchase everything. It is really cool though, they're adding a lot of like unused items and actually some brand new cosmetics and mounts and some store mounts in there, which is really nice. Like February will have the Celestial Steed, which is awesome, so that's going to be available basically to everyone that plays the game, which is really cool. I really like this feature. I'm really looking forward to being able to just kind of casually gain my Traders Tender per month, and of course just purchasing some of the cool cosmetics and mounts. But as mentioned, that is launching on February 1st and will rotate every single month. If you do want to know more specific details about the trading post, I did post a video going over all of the little details about the trading post. I will leave that link in the top right of the video right now or in the description below. The next 10.05 feature we're going to talk about is the Primalist Tomorrow. Now, the Primalist Tomorrow area is available right now. It's over in Thaldraszus, but they are adding a brand new feature over there called the Storm's Fury. Now, the Storm's Fury event is something that comes up every 5 hours on a rotation, and is essentially an extension of the Primalist invasions that we currently have in the live game. Now, the way that this works is when the event is up in the Primalist Tomorrow, you'll see 4 portals on the map. Now, what needs to be done here is the portals need to be closed. These portals can be closed by just killing the NPCs in that area. This is definitely something that will need a group. You probably won't be able to do this solo. Killing NPCs when the event is up will give you Elemental Overflow, which is the current currency of the Primalist invasions, but there will also be a brand new currency just for this event called Essence of the Storm. Now with this currency you can buy rings and trinkets at item level 385. There's also a pet available and a brand new mount which can be purchasable with Elemental Overflow and Essence of the Storms. This is a weekly event as well, so if you want to just go there weekly, close the portals with a group or a bunch of people that are already there, kill the boss, that's basically it. It's a pretty simple event and just something to do on the side on top of your regular activities. Another major change coming in 10.05 is sweeping class changes. Pretty much every class is affected by 10.05, so if you do want to check out specifics of your class, I'm not going to go into them here, you can check out the patch notes below. There are some pretty big changes to some classes and specs, some minor changes of course, but overall there is just, you know, different changes happening that you should be aware of. But yeah, I'll leave the notes below if you do want to look at your specific class and spec. A major change coming for collectors in 10.05 is that white and grey items will now be transmoggable. Yes, all of the old white and grey transmog appearances, all of the basic appearances, will now be transmoggable by your characters. This includes things like the Blood Elf Bandit Mask or Lord Warden's Top Hat, and things like that are being converted to cosmetics. Now what this also means is that all white and grey items will now be BOE instead of kind of the freely tradable versions of them, just so you can learn the transmogs as you do right now. So yeah, just keep an eye out for those. No doubt you'll be going back to the starting zones and doing all of those starting quests again, but if you do want to seek out some of your old starting zone gear, some of the vendors in Stormwind and Ogrenred will now sell some of them, so keep an eye out for those in your cities. But yeah, for the most part, this is going to be really cool. There's going to be a lot more basic looking characters, and it's just a nice change overall for the game and for collectors, of course. Another thing coming in 10.05, or coming back in 10.05, is the Mage Tower Challenge. Yes, the Mage Tower Challenge, the Time Walking Mage Tower Challenge, is returning in patch 10.05. This will be available once again from the Broken Isles, so you can head over there and continue getting those transmogs or getting the mount and things like that. Unfortunately, it does look like the Evokers do not have a Mage Tower Challenge as of yet, but if you do want to go back on some of your regular classes, that will be available, and all of the old transmogs and mounts and things like that that were available before with the Time Walking version will be available. Just the only change here is really with the item level of the items that you get kind of transformed into due to the changes that came in the Dragonflight pre-patch. So yeah, the Mage Tower is coming back in 10.05. Another thing that's getting some changes in 10.05 is Solo Shuffle. There's some pretty sweeping changes coming to Solo Shuffle in regards to people leaving the matches. So what they've said in the patch notes is that several changes have been made to improve how our system handles players that leave matches. Ratings will now be calculated per round with games with leavers. A warning prompt will now display the penalties for leavers if a player attempts to leave a match, and players who excessively leave will be subject to account review and suspensions, as abandoning matches repeatedly is a violation of the terms of service. So yeah, some pretty major changes to leavers in Solo Shuffle. It's the most annoying thing in the world, going through like 5 rounds and then someone leaves and you don't get anything from it. So I think these changes are absolutely fantastic, and no doubt they're going to continue to change Solo Shuffle as it progresses, but I do think these changes are a massive step forward in regards to people leaving Solo Shuffle. Another thing coming in 10.05 is the Revival Catalyst. This is the kind of Creation Catalyst 2.0 from Zereth Mortis. This is now going to have a Dragonflight version. Now, the location of this is actually in Tierhold, slightly to the left in one of the kind of like chambers there. This will be available on the launch day of 10.05 for both of the regions. The way that this works essentially is that you can put Season 1 gear into the Revival Catalyst and it will convert it to the appropriate tier set piece. Items that are eligible for this include Mythic Plus dungeon gear, PvP gear, Vault of the Incarnates raid dungeon gear, Epic Primal Storms gear, which is really cool to see, Epic War Mode gear, World Boss loot, and direct options from the Great Vault. These will all be available to convert into tier set pieces as of 10.05. The way that the charges work this time around is essentially it's going to be a weekly quest, an account-bound weekly quest for you to do like PvP or world content or Mythic Plus or something like that, and that will gain account-wide charges for your character to create tier pieces out of some of the items that I listed previously. So really good system, a little bit late personally, but it is what it is unfortunately, but it is really nice to see this continuing on from its Zereth Mortis version. And kind of the last major change coming in patch 10.05 is changes to professions. So all professions will now have their requirements to unlock specializations reduced. So right now, professions with 3 specialization trees would have to get their final unlock at 100 skill, but that's now 75, and ones with 4 specialization trees have been reduced to 60 and 75, where it was previously 75 and 100, which is really nice. It's, you know, not such a high barrier for entry to start unlocking some of those specialization trees. Still nothing to kind of like, you know, reset your specialization trees, but maybe that's something coming down the line. Another thing that's happening with professions is they're adding a lot of the old Warlords of Draenor crafted item appearances. They were actually removed a while back and they've now been reinstated in their chosen professions, so keep an eye out for those for a little bit of extra transmog. Another change coming to professions is that profession requirements for different transmog is either being adjusted or removed entirely, which I think is really good. It opens up transmog a lot more, especially with the white and grey transmogs coming in. It just opens it up a little bit more for transmog options, which is really nice. There are a ton of different very specific changes to professions. Again, I'll leave the notes down in the description if you want to read all of that. But yeah, there's very, very specific things here, which I don't want to get into to make this video 25 minutes long. So yeah, a couple of changes to professions coming in 10.05. Okay, so there are all the kind of major changes coming in 10.05. So let's talk about some minor changes which are coming in. So the first one is something that's not really been reported anywhere, and it's very, very specific. So the Trial of Style is actually getting some of the names changed of the themes. So for example, Ready for Battle is now the Shadowlands, Spooktacular is now Gothic Gala, Dark and Deadly is now Expedition Catwalk. Yeah, just random things like that. There's a whole list I've put up on the screen if you want to look at the differences, but yeah, very, very specific. Definitely a minor change, and it is going to change up Trial of Style a little bit once that rotates around in 10.05. Speaking of transmog, actually they're adding some new transmogs to the transmog vendors using the Trial of Style tokens actually. So if you have a bunch of those saved up, definitely use those once 10.05 launches. You'll see some brand new items in here like missing tier set pieces, which is really nice to see, some beanie transmogs, which we've been asking for the longest time, some pirate hats, and unused weapon appearances. Really cool to see some of these things coming in. As mentioned, you can go and grab those with your Trial of Style tokens once the patch launches. They'll be available on basically any NPC that can transmog in any of the major cities of World of Warcraft. With the launch of 10.05, you'll see some changes to the edit mode. So with the edit mode in 10.05, you'll be able to move the experience bar, the reputation bar, the durability icon, the bags, like all of your bag icons, and the micro button bar can now be moved and rotated and scaled as much as you like on the screen, which is nice. Finally, that's coming in 10.05. You can also move these assets with the arrow keys if you like, just to get that really specific pixel perfect placement. Also with the talent UI, it's changing a little bit here as well. So the reset talent button now gives you a choice whether you want to reset your class tree or your spec tree or both. And you can also now copy someone's build from inspecting them. So if you see a player you really like their build, you can inspect them and right click it and import their build straight into yours, which is really nice, really great. I know add-ons do that stuff as well, but it is nice to see it coming in by default. Speaking of new settings, we also have some new motion sickness settings for Dragonriding. So we now have the focal circle, so this adds a crosshair to the center of the screen to help you focus while Dragonriding. You also have landscape darkening, which does darken the kind of edges of the screen when Dragonriding. And you also have the option to combine them, so you can have the focal circle and the landscape darkening at the same time to help you with motion sickness. I think it's great, I think it's nice. I'm not personally going to use it, but if people do suffer with motion sickness with Dragonriding, this is going to be a great option for you. So yeah, just a couple more minor changes that I've noticed. Shadowlands tier sets will now get their glow back, so Shadowlands sets that lost their mythic and epic glows will now get them in 10.05, which is cool, so that's coming back. Keep an eye out for that. New rare icon, so there's going to be a new rare icon in 10.05 as well, which is universal across the board, so that'll happen in old world zones as well. That'll be available on the map, and you'll be able to see that as and when 10.05 launches. You'll also be able to enchant your artifact weapons with illusions, which is nice, so you can add a little bit of extra flair to those artifact weapons. Also, when the patch launches, you'll now be able to turn on war mode in Valdkrakken. So yeah, just a very, very nice, convenient change for war mode players. And finally, the most important change of all of them, in 10.05, there will be a brand new icon for the Great Vault on the map. Yeah, there you go, a new icon, a new Dragonflight themed icon for the Great Vault. So yeah, there you go, that is everything coming in patch 10.05. Let me know down below what you're excited about in this patch. As mentioned, it is launching on January 24th in the NA region and January 25th in the EU, so very, very soon. A lot of fun things coming. Trading Post, definitely my highlight for sure, which is launching on February 1st, but definitely some minor and evergreen changes to the game, which is always great to see. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That'd be very much appreciated. If you want to support me outside of YouTube, I do have a Patreon as well, or you can check me out on Twitter at MrGMYT, and I also have a partner Discord channel, and as mentioned, I am now streaming on twitch.tv/MrGM. If you want to see me stream World of Warcraft, Dragonflight PTR, patch 10.05, patch 10.07, any sort of World of Warcraft, I'm over on twitch.tv/MrGM every single day. And with that, guys, I'll see you next time.